Morning, everybody. Alan D9J Sports. Hey, we're right back at it. To all my subscribers out there, really appreciate it. Before we get into it, I'm going to need you to hit the like and subscribe button and hit that little bell so you can get notifications whenever we get ready to drop a video. So this morning, we want to talk a little bit about HBCUs and their hiring process and what they've got going on. We know that Michael Vick took the job at Norfolk State University, and that's great. And now Deshaun Watson, he's at Delaware State. Neither one of them have any previous head coaching experience. I don't think they have any coaching experience at all. But what I want to talk about is HBCUs, and I will give them credit. I will give them credit. You know, in this day and age where people always got something to say, don't see too many people really making a big thing about it. But here at D9J Sports, I'm here to tell you, HBCUs are out front. They're definitely out front in what they're doing as far as hiring coaches and black coaches. Now, to all of you coaches out there who went through the so-called grind, this is no disrespect to you at all. You know, sometimes everybody doesn't get their, what I call their blessing in the way that some people may do it. So let's take a closer look at the hiring process overall. Now, for me, I can tell you that there are a lot of guys out there, guys and girls. Let's specifically talk about football coaches, head football coaches. Head football coaches get jobs, and some of them aren't qualified. So you're here to tell me that if you go and you get your degree and you become an assistant coach, that just absolutely makes you qualified. By the standard rule, it does. But let's just think about that. How many of you out there know some coaches that have their bachelor's or their master's or whatever it may be, but they suck at coaching? They suck at coaching. When you may know some guy who doesn't have a degree at all, you would recommend to be your head football coach. Oh, yeah. Now, HBCUs, I will tell you this. It started, of course, we know with Dion, and we know Eddie George, he's doing a good job. And so many more guys, even some guys out there who don't get the credit or who don't have those high profile names that are doing a good job. And we definitely do not want to overlook them. But in the hiring process, let's make sure we got this straight. Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson, instant credibility. And what I mean by credibility, what's the number one thing that a college football coach needs to be able to do? He needs to be able to recruit. He needs to be able to recruit. So if you got some average guy, some average coach, and no disrespect, who you think's the kid's gonna want to play for? Who do you think? You think when they hear the name Michael Vick, you already know what that means. You know that brings more notoriety. That brings more access to that university. Deshaun Jackson, Delaware State, brings a whole lot more notoriety. And that's no disrespect to another coach who isn't as high profile as these guys. So I will tell all the HBCUs out there, hey man, congratulations. Hey, continue to do what you're doing. Now we know what it used to be. It used to be the good old boy network, right? Where one coach, let's just say it the way it is, one white coach, he would go and he would fail at one school and then was just a round table, and he would go to another school and he'd have several different opportunities, but he was terrible. Oh no! But the days have changed. The days have changed and I'm glad to see that it's starting at HBCUs, and I'm also glad to see that the Colorado Buffaloes and their administration and their athletic director took a chance on Coach Prime, and you see exactly what happened. You see what happened in this day and age of the portal. I'm quite sure there are going to be some kids out there who are going to want to turn the tide. They're not going to want to go to Alabama. They're not going to want to go to Georgia. They're going to say, hey, man, I can get access to the National Football League, definitely through Michael Vick, definitely through Deshaun Jackson. So you tell me a quarterback that's a dual threat quarterback. There are a lot of them out there that don't even get an offer from a junior college. Don't get an offer from a junior college. But yet, you telling me that you get a chance to go play quarterback and you got Michael Vick as the head coach and you a dual threat quarterback. All right, man. Hey, you already know where their kid's going to go. Because chances are, if their kid goes out to, and no disrespect to these schools, I'm just calling out names, Georgia, Alabama, or some other school, then they're probably going to want to change their kid's position. But a true dual threat quarterback would be really excited to go play for Michael Vick. A wide receiver that may be smaller in stature, he's going to want to go play for D-Jack. He's going to want to play for D-Jack. Now, when it comes to recruiting, well, let's get to the coaching aspect. I'm quite sure that these two coaches are going to put some high-profile former NFL coaches around them, and I'm quite sure they're going to give some coach out there an opportunity that normally wouldn't get an opportunity just because of who they are. And I'm sure that they know the road and path that they had to take. So they're going to give somebody out there an opportunity. So HBCUs, continue to do what you're doing. And I hope that the rest of the country will take a minute and say, hey, they've got it right at HBCUs. They've got it right. Nobody seems to have a problem, even though Bill Belichick is the greatest football coach, in my opinion, of all time. Nobody had a problem with them overlooking some coach that was probably on their staff that's probably been coaching there for years. And it's probably a white guy. But nobody had a problem with that. Nobody. So, and football season's coming down to an end. We got the bowl games and we got the playoff games coming up Wednesday, and it's going to be over with. So let's just take a look. Let's just take a look and listen and see how many coaches in the carousel continue to get jobs where people are going to be overlooked. They're going to be overlooked. Let's just see. Let's just see how much attention it brings. Okay, when one guy leaves one school and the school failed, and he went to another school and he got another job, they're not going to really talk about that. But Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson getting a job, and they're being African American guys by African American schools who hired them and gave them a chance. See, a lot of times in life, what happens is, just because, and I want you to remember this, and this especially goes out to a bunch of you high schools out there. Just because a guy gets a degree and he goes and he's an assistant coach and he comes up the carousel doesn't mean he's going to be a good coach. It doesn't. And I'm sure there are a lot of communities out there that know there's some guy that may be training somebody. There's some guy or girl out there. She may be a basketball coach, but she won't get a chance. She won't get a chance because, quote unquote, she didn't go through the proper steps. Just remember I said that here first at D9J Sports. This is Alan. So I want you to have a good day, a good week. And hey, we'll see you on our next show. HBCUs, keep it up. And I'm definitely out.